Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel dedicated to English literature, and I am Vineet Pandey, your friend, your guide, your teacher and a learner of literature, a lover of literature. So, we are preparing for UGC NET exam and we all know that syllabus is quite changed. A lot of people, they got worried that what should be the right strategy, what should be the books, what are the options to read, and what are the right strategies. So instead of going for all those things, I believe that one must start working hard, one must start finding things, one must start studying. So today's lecture is actually dealing with Unit 4 non-fiction, and in this we are going to talk about something very important. And remember, this has been asked in NET exam. Now we're talking about Salman Rushdie's Imaginary Homelands, published in 1992, an essay, a collection of essays divided in 6 parts. Number 1, Midnight's Children. Number 2, Politics of India and Pakistan. Number 3, Indo-Anglican Literature. Number 4, Movie and Television. Number 5, Experience of Migrants, primarily Indian migrants to Britain. Number 6, Thatcher Election, a question of Palestine. So, these are the most 6 important parts related to Imaginary Homelands. Imaginary Homelands is actually a post-colonial work dealing with different mindsets, relation between the countries, identity crisis, and actual problem which is known as Commonwealth literature. Now, dear students, you people have qualified graduation exams, you have studied in post-graduation, many of you are research scholars of MPhil, PhD, many of you are teachers. When for the first time I was teaching in University of Delhi, I found a surprising element that Commonwealth literature was totally excluded from the syllabus. Earlier, even Delhi University was teaching Commonwealth literature, but for the first time, the phrase Commonwealth literature was totally removed from the syllabus. As you all know that in NET JRF field, I am the only expert right now who is teaching and has a background of University of Delhi, 3 years teaching experience. I immediately approached to my senior teacher in charge and I asked her, ma'am, how can we avoid Commonwealth literature? This is something very important. I have read writers related to Commonwealth literature. She smiled and said, Vineet, you must update yourself to the latest topics, to the latest news and the latest studies. Yes, because when I qualified NET, even I was the one reading only David Deutsch, M.H. Abraham, Peter Berry, William J. Long, and just mugging up or finding sources from various point of views. And in fact, I didn't have any guide who had the university experience. In fact, many of you do not have a person who can guide you and has actually taught in a university. In fact, a lot of people they keep talking about David Deutsch can make you pass NET, qualify NET. Peter Berry is helping you for NET. M.H. Abrahams is helping you for NET. Everybody is studying that. So it was her suggestion. I started studying the latest changes. I became the part of various groups in University of Delhi. I started understanding the concepts. I started attending seminars and talking to my senior teachers, which reformed me. So I did a special study of Imaginary Homelands, and there I went for a particular essay. Commonwealth literature does not exist. So remember students, this is the most important essay. Commonwealth literature does not exist, said by Salman Rushdie. We all know about Salman Rushdie. He is famous for Midnight Children and is controversial for his famous work or infamous work, Satanic Verses. Now remember, Salman Rushdie's famous work, Imaginary Homelands, it actually deals with the post-colonial identity crisis, post-colonial messages, narrations, and moreover the perspectives. So he is of the view that Commonwealth literature is a wrong term which has been applied to the countries under the control of British domination. So all my students who are making notes, I suggest you please mention this thing, that Commonwealth countries were the group of 53 countries under the control of British Empire. And remember, there was a famous declaration of Elizabeth II when they actually freed Canada from all types of control. She did a famous saying, she said a famous quote that I'm going to make you write. Please note it down. Elizabeth II, in her address to Canada on Dominion Day in 1959, called Canada the first independent country within the British Empire. So, the first independent country within the British Empire. What's the message here? Like if you read the line again, the first independent country within the British Empire means, so you may be independent, you may be the first free country, but still you are under British Empire. So this was the reason that Commonwealth countries, 53 countries, they were earlier known as Union of the Crown. Remember this thing, that these countries, they objected. They said that once we were your slaves, once we were your colonies, but now we are totally independent, we will not accept this political terminology or a terminology which shows the British supremacy. So this was later changed to Commonwealth countries, or later we know as Commonwealth literature. So Salman Rushdie has a clear idea. Commonwealth simply means common well-being. So the countries who do not even share the common identities, common ideologies, fooding habits, reading habits, mindset, social cultural habits, they are totally different. How can we just sum up them in a group, calling them that you were just enslaved by Britain, that's why you are the Commonwealth, that's why you are the common people and with common sharing habits. So this was the reason Salman Rushdie was of the view. He said that when we say Commonwealth literature, how do we have the Commonwealth countries? There are nothing common in these Commonwealth countries. Moreover, he has a unique question. Pakistan, South Africa, they are included in Commonwealth countries group. Their literature is also called Commonwealth literature. But tell me, Pakistan is a born country which is independent, a country which was born independent, a country which never got enslaved. People's mindsets, psychology got enslaved, no doubt, because earlier they were Indians. But after 1947, Pakistan has a free identity. The same thing is happening to South Africa. When South Africa was formed, the Union of South Africa, the Dominion, it's a free country, it was never enslaved, and moreover the South Africa is primarily dominated by the white British settlers. So why these countries who do not share any intellectual, cultural, socio-political habit of Commonwealth countries, why they are included in this? So this was Salman Rushdie's point of view, and moreover he said that when we say that India is a Commonwealth country, we actually do injustice to Indian literature. Like my dear students, you are studying English literature. Have you ever realized when you read British literature, English literature, we read English literature in English. We read American literature in American English. But when we read Indian literature, India has 22 registered languages. So if you are reading something in Assamese, that is Indian literature. You're reading something in Dogri, that is Indian literature. You're reading something in Bengali, it's Indian literature. And moreover, if the Indian writers are writing in English, it's again Indo-Anglican literature. So in short, Indian literature stands for the broader terms, and that will be a very injustice with Indian literature if we just merely call it a Commonwealth country. Here, remember this thing, the famous writer Vikram Chandra, the famous writer related for Srinagar conspiracy, has supported Salman Rushdie on this thing, and he says that Indian writers are suffering from a cult of authenticity. There is a need of authenticity of Indian English writer. Problem is that Indian English writers who are writing novels, stories, fiction, they are not sure whether they are British, whether they are the Commonwealth people, or they are the pure Indian people. So they may ask you a question in NET exam that according to Salman Rushdie, what kind of problem Indian writers are going through. So they are going through the authentication of the Indianness, authentication of the cult of Indian writings. In short, the message is that Indian English writers are in a level, in a confusion, whether they are having English thoughts in the mind, whether they are having Indian thoughts, or is it a complex mixing of two different thought processes. So remember what I mean to say is, Salman Rushdie is simply of the view that the word Commonwealth literature is something political. It still tries to show the dominance, but the colonization of Canada was totally different. Canadians were the white people. They didn't face the same torture what Indians faced. The Africans' colonization was totally different. Colonizing Africa was very easy than colonizing India. And why so? Because in India, when Britishers came to us, we had three great religions: Hinduism, Islam, Sikhism, and all these three great religions had deeply rooted roots and cultural habits. It was not easy to go to a Muslim asking him to get converted to Christianity, or go to a Hindu Brahmin asking him to get converted to Christianity, or a Sikh to forget Guru Granth Sahib, because three religion with deep rooted culture habits. So Britishers had to face a lot of issues and problems to convert the mindset. But in Africa, African people, the head of the village, the mighty person of the village, he would have 20 wives, 30 wives, having 60 to 70 kids, his own tribal village. So technically they were divided in thousands of tribes in the kind of, population of 300, 400 in one tribe, with separate gods, separate habits. So Britishers found it easy to colonize them using a bullet. They just kill somebody and 400 people will follow you. So this was the reason that Salman Rushdie says that how can you assimilate multiple countries, their conditions, their resistance, their political resistance, their emotional, cultural resistance against the alien culture, how can you sum up them and can simply say that these countries fall in a group known as the Commonwealth literature. So this was the reason in December 2012 NET exam paper 3rd had a question, Commonwealth literature does not exist. So remember, this is the most important point dealing with the non-fiction, and here I'm going to give you certain important things that you have to remember. Please note it down. Rushdie called it the language politics, and he said that Commonwealth literature simply means the master-slave relationship. Commonwealth literature is positioned below English literature. So this point is very, very important. Do not forget this point. Moreover, remember this, that Commonwealth literature has been generally used to refer to the literature of colonies, former colonies and dependencies of Britain, excluding the literature of England. So that's the unique point. If they ask you a question in paper that what is the difference between Commonwealth literature and English literature, English literature has been given upper hand. English people are the rulers, the masters, we people are the slaves. And remember, Commonwealth literature does not include English literature. It doesn't include, though it is controlled and governed by British people, English people. So this was a very special lecture on non-fiction. If you are happy with this lecture, let me know. I request you, please share the lecture and tell your people, tell your friends to enhance the skills and go in the depth of studies. Moreover, if it gives you knowledge, I request you to share it on Facebook, subscribe it, and moreover, you want to join us, you can contact me on 85870 35827. This is Vineet Pandey. Jai Hind.